Well, good morning everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Fells of Great Britain. Today I'm in Lakeland again, and I'm going to climb Catstye Cam, which is a mountain that runs out on a ridge from Helvellyn. And Wainwright says that if it weren't for that fact that it's connected to Helvellyn, it would be a fabulous mountain in its own right. Has a perfect shape, wonderful pyramid, a nice rounded summit, none of this grass and flat area. It's got a proper pinnacle on the summit, which I'll show you now. There we are. So it really is a glorious mountain, and from this aspect you can see it for what it is. It stands out in the landscape very well, but not so well when you're going up Striding Edge and when you're on Helvellyn. Helvellyn tends to dominate this whole mountain scene. So moving round now, you can see this lovely river that runs down to Glenridding. This was the river, of course, that caused the terrible floods a few years ago in Glenridding. So I'm not sure which route I'm going to take to get to the top of this mountain today. I was planning on doing the East Ridge, but it really does look a bit too tough for me. I'm afraid my knees are not going to be up to the job today, unfortunately. But there we are. That's just growing old for you, isn't it? So let me show you the route. I'll crack on with the walk, and we'll get back together in a moment. The Lake District National Park lies in the north of England in the county of Cumbria, and we begin our walk today on the shore of Ullswater at a small settlement called Glenridding. Starting initially on the bridleway known as Greenside Road, we head due west for around 2 miles to the weir on Glenridding Beck. Here we take the footbridge to pick up the path that heads due south to Red Tarn. This path is very clear and easy to follow, but steepens significantly as we follow Red Tarn Beck up to the tarn itself. At the tarn, we head west along a well-defined path that takes us on to Swirral Edge, a short but precipitous arête which takes us to Helvellyn's summit, the highest point of our route. Helvellyn is one of Lakeland's major peaks, and from its summit we gain fabulous views in all directions, but particularly to the west over Thirlmere with the Scafell Range visible in the far distance, and south to Nethermost Pike and Dollywagon Pike. Our descent is made initially to the north, heading for Whiteside Bank, at which we now turn east and pick up the well-defined path back down to the weir on Glenridding Beck, and finally picking up the bridleway back to the settlement of Glenridding, where our walk finishes. The walk covers a distance of just over 10 miles and will take between 4 and 6 hours to complete, depending on how many rests and stops you have along the way to take in the marvellous views. Beautiful, isn't it? Nicely finished path here, just what the doctor ordered. So up ahead there you can see the path that leads to Red Tarn, and then over here I'm hoping to find the path that goes to the ridge, but I think I'm going to decide not to do that today. I think you have to give up quite a lot of altitude to get down to the start of the ridge, so I think I'll leave it. And of course Red Tarn is a very attractive location, so I may well continue up here and sit at the tarn for a bit. Oh my god, it's a stiff ball. What an absolutely splendid stream here. Wonderfully clear water. Oh, it goes on and on. Well, I'm finding this quite tiring, so I'm going to have to think again about my plan. I've abandoned already the ridge of Catstye Cam, and I think I'm going to have to abandon the ascent of Catstye Cam altogether, because I'm finding it a little bit too challenging, and I do want to make a loop of it, so of the energy I've got left, I think I need to apply it to just getting onto the summit of Helvellyn via Swirral Edge. So I'm going to skip going up Catstye Cam, which is to my right here. I'll just show you. So up there onto the right is the top of Catstye. And my plan now is to go up to the start of Swirral Edge. You can just see it there in view. And when I get to the top of this path, I've got a decision to make. Do I turn right and make a quick move up to Catstye Cam and then back down again and take on Swirral Edge, or do I just skip it and go straight onto Swirral Edge? I hate these dilemmas, but my health is just letting me down these days. Let's get myself in focus. Am I? Is it following me? Yes. Yeah, so it's splendid. Red Tarn is an absolute delight. I'll show you that in a moment. And I'll hopefully put some drone footage in the video. It's a very expansive tarn. A lot of the tarns I've visited recently have been quite small and compact. But this tarn is huge. Great big bowl enveloped by Helvellyn and Striding Edge and Swirral Edge and Catstye Cam. You've just got those four features coming together and completely enveloping the tarn. Let me just show you. So there's Swirral Edge, and as I pan around you can see Helvellyn and Striding Edge now coming into view, and the tarn is down there. And there's the path coming up to the start of Striding Edge. It's a must-do walk, Striding Edge, although I'm not doing it today. It's one of those bucket list walks. If you're into hiking in the fells, then Striding Edge is one that you must do, and you can see literally dozens of people up there on their way up to the top. It's a bit of a push. You can see just on the left hand side there, when you get to the end of the ridge, it's a bit of a push to get to the summit. Swirral Edge on the other hand over here is a bit shorter, and I'm hoping my recollection of it is correct. Yes, that my recollection of it is correct, and that even with my frail knees I will be able to do it. Weather conditions today are perfect. It's dry, bone dry, and not very windy, so it should be okay. We'll see how we go. Well, okay then, there's the path that goes up to Catstye Cam. I think I'm going to skip it and just stay on the path I'm on. Sorry. Bit busy. Plenty of people trying.
That leather hat.
So just over here we should get, at the start of the ridge here, we should get some fabulous views, because it's a bit of a knife edge, as you can see. Look, Catstye Cam, the abandoned summit, and I don't know which valley we're looking into there. I'll have to look it up. But here we are. Here's Swirral Edge. Starts off not particularly challenging and then gets very steep towards the end, and then you have to use your hands. So onwards, and I think I need to redeploy my kit, pack most of it away for this, and no walking pole. You don't need it. You need your hands, and it's a little bit of a challenge. Let's hope my recollection of it is correct, otherwise I'm screwed. So there we are. We can see Red Tarn there. All of it's in view now. Splendid, isn't it? And you can see people, lots of human silhouettes on that crest there. That's Striding Edge leading up to Helvellyn. Right, let's crack on then. Taking the easy route for the more hardened scrambler. There is an alternative that goes right over the top of all this that you can see up there, but my days of doing that are done. Even so, it's a bit tricky. Brief respite, nice level path, and then the final scramble to the top up ahead there. As we come round here, you can see Skidder and Keswick in the far distance, and that path you can see on the other fell there is our return route, assuming of course I can get up this bloody thing. Very different proposition in winter. I was up here a few years ago and completely abandoned any attempt. It was all snowy. There are a few people over here on this cliff face doing winter ascents with ice axes and crampons and God knows what. Not for me. That fella in front of me seems to know what he's doing. It looks a bit too difficult to the right. That's the more challenging route. So I'm going to keep left. Oh, I think I've bitten off more than I can chew here. Come on, legs. So there are small stones here, so that suggests to me that this is a route. Yeah. Where's my next handhold? Found myself a little bit of turf to walk on. It's so loose, you just need something on the side of the gully to grab onto. Oh, Jesus. finally at the top of Helvellyn, and it's just as I remember it, a grassy, flat, featureless summit, but it affords the walker absolutely fabulous views, which I'll show you in a moment. Time now, I think, to sit down somewhere and have a little bit of a rest. But before I do that, let me show you what I can see. So over here, we're looking over the flank of Helvellyn, which falls down to Thirlmere, and then over there, just to orientate you, we've got Skidder and Blencathra, and that's in the direction of Keswick. But then coming round here, somewhat veiled in heat haze, we've got just about everything here. We've got over there, we've got the Coniston Range. I'll label these up when I edit the video. And coming around here, you can see in the centre of view now Great Gable, and to its right you can see Kirkfell and Pillar, and then further round to the right we've got High Stile, High Crag and Red Pike, and then just in front of Red Pike we've got Dalehead, and to the right of that we've got Hinesgarth, and coming around here we've got Grisdale Pike, Eel Crag, Grassmoor, Hopegill Head, countless number, and then over there we've got Whiteside. Absolutely splendid view. Well worth the trial and tribulation of getting here, although I think my days of doing this kind of ascent are well and truly numbered. Okay, I don't know where I'm going to sit down. There's nothing but rock here. Anyway, just a nice easy return now to Glenridding. That's the major part of the climb over. We're just coming over here. I'll just show you the mountain that I abandoned today. Let's just swing the camera around. So over there's Catstye Cam.
Knowing about
So looking down there you can see, let's just make sure it's focused, there we go. There's a drone flying by. Right, well that's Swirral Edge there. That's what I've just come up. A good deal harder than I remember, and then we pan round here to Red Tarn. And then over there you can see all those people walking across Striding Edge. And here we have the summit cairn. Lots of people out today, as I expected. It's a very popular mountain, this. Final look then from the summit before we head down. We have to visit the cairn, don't we? The tradition of touching it with your walking pole. So as we leave Helvellyn summit, we go down to Helvellyn Little Man, which I'll show you in a second, and then on to Whiteside to pick up the path back to Glenridding. So let me just flip the camera to show you those features. So just ahead of us there is Helvellyn Little Man. Splendid little lump, isn't it, before we make the descent down to Whiteside. And then you can just see over there, I'll move to the edge here, you can see that zigzag path down there. That's our route back. I'm hoping that's not going to be too steep. And then here's the mountain that's become infamous during my walk today, the mountain that I didn't get up, Catstye Cam. Now, Catstye Cam has an interesting name, doesn't it? It's an Old English name. It's a conjunction of three words, actually, in Old English, one meaning cat, and I think the reference here is to a wild cat, the like of which used to live on these fells many centuries ago. And stye, which is a corruption of the word stig, which means road, and cam meaning ridge. So Catstye Cam is the Cat Road Ridge, or the Cat Ridge Road. It's an unusual name. There aren't many mountains in the lakes that have a name anything like that. So as we come down here, looking in the direction of Thirlmere, the mountains here are just spectacular. And in this mist, they have a kind of a painterly look to them. They don't look quite real, but I can assure you they are, because those of us who have done the Wainwrights have been up every one. It's always a source of delight to me that whenever you look at a vista like this, the one mountain that orientates you and enables you to name all the others is that great volcanic plug of a mountain there, Great Gable. And from Barrow and Kirk Fell, you can actually see that it is a volcano with an enormous plug of rock on the top. From this side, it's a bit more pyramidal in shape. And certainly if you go up from Seathwaite on your way up to Scafell, Great Gable makes for a wonderful triangular looking mountain. But on the other side, you can see the volcanic nature of it. This great plug of rock on the top. So it really is a bit breezy now and a little bit chilly, but gloriously sunny. So let's press on. And I suppose I can't leave this summit without pointing out to you the highest point in England. Right in front of the camera now in the centre of field of view is Scafell or Scafell Pike. And then just to the right of it is Great End. And to the left of it we've got Esk Pike and Bowfell. Fabulous. So the original plan today was to go up that north ridge that you can see in view there on Catstye Cam, and you can see it starts down where there is a dam or some kind of a quarry down there at the foot of the mountain. But it looks very, very steep, doesn't it? I don't think I'm disappointed at all that I didn't do that route. I think people of my age shouldn't attempt such things. Coming around here, we've got a nice view now of Swirral Edge, which I've just been up and really struggled to get to the top of. And then we're looking back now towards the summit of Helvellyn. And over there is Coniston Water. I'd forgotten about this view of the end of Thelmere and then down into the Vale of St John's and then on to Keswick. It's gorgeous, isn't it? Some lovely woodland on the other side of Thelmere there. And I'm looking in this direction. After Whiteside we go on to Raise, not on this walk of course, but this range, the Helvellyn range, terminates at Clough Head, which is the mountain you can see on the A66 when you come into Keswick on the left hand side. You can see Clough Head. And over there in the distance is Bassenthwaite Lake. I always make the mistake of calling it Bassenthwaite Water, but it's Bassenthwaite Lake. It's the only body of water in the Lake District that is called a lake. Bit of a steep drop now. So you can clearly see that ridge that I was going to climb today. It's definitely a ridge and I can't see the path. Looks pretty tough. There's just a faint suggestion of a path towards the top, but down the bottom, where would you go? And when I said there's a dam down there, there is indeed. It's not a quarry, it's a dam. Come to think of it, I think Wainwright refers to it as being a dam that was constructed during the period when these fields were quarried. And it's fallen into disuse now, so I don't think it, I think it's been breached so that it no longer holds water. And I'm panning over here. We've got Ullswater, which looks depressingly a long way away. And finally over here some evidence of sheep, but just the one. Right, well we start a small ascent now to Whiteside. Mind you, at this time in the walk it'll probably be exhausting for me. This will probably be the best final look of the range of mountains that I've been up today. Catstye Cam on the left, Swirral Edge Centre now, Helvellyn Centre, and then coming round is the descent off Helvellyn Little Man. Here come the people made of more, the Guinness drinkers. So is this it? Are we there? No. Okay, that's done. It's quite a spectacle here, isn't it? Lovely rolling hills, or mountains really. Wonderfully verdant. Lots of good pasture, but can't see any sheep. So those fell runners disappeared to the top of Helvellyn in less time than it took me to get here. I hate them. Well, there's Ullswater over there. It looks a long way away. So just here is the turn in the path for rays, if you wanted to do rays on this walk. Back another Wainwright. That's the hill here you can see on the left. But we're going to go right because we're on our way down now. So this is what we like to see on a descent, a nice zigzag path to kill off some of this steepness. Do with rather more zigzags than this though, so I'll take whatever I can get. So you can definitely see that that valley over there was once the head of a glacier. It's a perfect U-shaped valley, perfect corrie, sculpted out by the head of a glacier. No tarn in it though. And you can see with a watershed like that just why, when we had those torrential gales and rainfall a few years ago, why Glenridding was really hit. This is a big valley, this is a big water catchment area, isn't it? And it would have come down into this valley here, and everything converges on the same river down here, overwhelming it. Paths look as though they've been painted on the landscape by cricket field linesmen. They just show up in stark relief. They look very fine, but when you actually get on them, they're not that brilliant. They're very rubbly. So you can see over there the path that I took this morning to get up to Red Tarn. And you can just about see the path that I would have taken if I'd gone up the ridge, but it's very faint. You can see it running along the base of Catstye Cam. Alright, so we're into the switchbacks now. I gotta say, they certainly will help. It would be very steep otherwise. Well, I'm so pleased to finally be off this kind of gradient. So around here, we've got just the final end. And then hopefully it's a bit more, just a little bit more level, not so steep. Oh, this has really killed my knees. Oh. There we are. A sign rather prosaically saying, "Oh, Helvellyn via Whiteside." Yeah, and the rest. I wouldn't like to go up via that route. I don't think I ever shall, not having come down it. We've still got a way to go. There's quite some elevation to clear, but it's a lot easier now. It's not steep. There is that critical point in a descent, isn't there? If it's just beyond a certain level of steepness, it just becomes very difficult to do, especially if it's not stepped. That's quite some mountain, isn't it? Lovely to have been to the top of it. Well, almost. So is this the end of the very steep stuff? We've finally reached a path that's a bit more level. Oh, it's such a long way back to Glenridding. This walk is very fine, and once it gets started it's spectacular, but the walk into the first part of the climb is about 2 miles. You've got to go into this valley for a couple of miles or so before you get to the proper start to the walk. Although, having said that, this valley is quite splendid. But when you come down off a fell at the end of the day, you really do want to just finish the job and get back home. But you're faced, when you finally get off the major descent on this route, that you're faced with a couple of miles of this kind of thing. So we're back down at the youth hostel. Never stayed in this youth hostel. I'm a member of the association. I've not used them for some time. But this one here, Helvellyn, it's called the Helvellyn Youth Hostel, is wonderful really in terms of its location. Great location for walking. Very pretty through here. This is a private road. The houses through here must be worth millions. They overlook the lake and Glenridding, and most of them have beautifully kept gardens. And the smells in the air are really quite overpowering, in a good way. Well, that's it, folks. That's the end of the walk. I've been on the fells for about 10 hours, about 8 miles of walking. It wouldn't take you 10 hours, of course. I've had to do filming and things. It's a splendid walk, and I'd recommend it to anybody. And if you're really up to it, I'd have a go at that North Ridge. Many people have done it, so it's quite doable. So if you're fit and strong and younger than me, do give it a try. So on that note, I'll bid you all farewell, and thank you very much for watching through to the end of this video. I'm very thankful for that. I enjoy making these videos, and my hope is that people will view them and get something from them, something to enjoy about the fabulous Lake District. So until next time then, I'll bid you all farewell. Until we next meet when I walk the fells of Great Britain. Bye for now.